One. Boom, and we are back with another episode of Socratic Gamers. This one's a special one. It's another movie review edition. Last time we did Wonder. You weren't here for that one, Vish.
No.
It's a pretty good movie. But we're going to review, major spoiler alerts on this one, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Yeah, The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. So before we begin, like always, we'll just give it our quick review. We'll go through the movie, and then we'll give it a review at the end. So what would you rate this one?
It's, are we doing it out of 5?
Out of 5.
It's a perfect movie.
Wow, 5 out of 5?
Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna give it a perfect score. Okay. I was actually gonna say, like, when it began, I was like, this is like a 3 out of 5. And then partway through it became like a 4.5, and then it finalized itself with a 5 out of 5 for me. So I'm just gonna give it a 5 out of 5 as well.
Okay.
Like a perfect score, but like it had its like hurdles. So
I don't think so.
You think? All right, cool. So we'll go through what happened in the movie. So again, major spoiler alerts. We're gonna go through actually what happened in the movie. So it starts off with, what do you remember? It starts off with.
I'm trying to remember. It's been a couple of days since we watched it.
Yeah. It started off with. Oh man, that's brutal. It started off with her showing up to. Let's just start off with her showing up to Luke.
Okay.
It didn't start off there. No. It started off with the shooting. It was the space battle.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how it began.
Yeah.
All right. So the space battle.
Oh yeah. Right.
I really liked that space battle. That was really sick because like it was pretty hyped. Like they were doing it like very fast and stuff. Like it reminded me of the pod racer races from episode 1.
Yeah.
You know, it was like high octane. I thought that was really cool. Good way to like.
Yeah, I like a lot of the shots that they did. Like is it the X-wing or
X-wing? Yeah, it was X-wing.
Yeah, and then like how he like when he got the last blaster on the big ship.
Yo, when he shot it,
and then
he
like
he flew through it.
As soon as he flew through it, and then like he like did a 180.
Right.
Real quick, like the way they did the shot.
Yep,
I
that
love
was
that
cool.
shot.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool to see.
I was kind of feeling like when they're blowing up all of the bombs. You know how like they're like, okay, like the last tank's down, like drop the bombs now, and then they were like blowing all of them up. I'm like, how come this last one's not getting blown up as easily as all the other ones? You know what I mean? And then it had like that necklace scene where she was like holding her necklace, and you were wondering who that girl would be later on.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. You thought it was like
I missed a line.
Was like a lesbian.
I missed a line somewhere.
Yeah, like were they like?
Yeah, I was like
lovers?
they were saying sisters, so I missed that line.
Yeah, they were sisters. So and then, but again, I didn't. One thing, so I was like, this is overhyped. Not overhyped. It was like, you guys are going off when when she kicked the thing and then the trigger fell, and before it fell into space she caught it. I was like, okay, that's like some ham cheesiness right there. That's why I was like, oh, this movie seems like it's gonna be weird. That's what like made me think of me. Did you like that, the beginning?
No, I liked the beginning. I was just like, wow, those bombers are really slow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and they were like, and then only one was left that could they had all those bombers and only one of them needed to be there to be successful.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I was like, how many of these bombers do they need? Because they kept blowing up all the other ones. It's like you just needed one. So I guess what their strategy was like, okay, if we all go, it'll be a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because it's like, if you take it in terms of like terrorism, it's
yeah.
a suicide mission. You're like, okay.
And like a lot of them died. Like
all of them died.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true. It's just like I thought the resistance doesn't have as many people, and it's like you should be doing more strategic moves in order to not get killed.
For sure. Your whole strategy was like, we're just gonna all go in and like hope one of us makes it.
Yeah.
That's kind of messed up.
If you do think of it this way, that way it's kind of like, oh, why do they do it like that? But like, it's also just a movie.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Just gotta enjoy it for what it is.
But that's why I was like, all right, they're going for the cheese factor here. I was like, of course, that one thing is going to be the last one to survive.
Right.
But so then, okay, we jump ahead to when Rey. They continue off of the scene where Rey meets Luke.
Yeah.
Actually, before that, when they were like doing Finn, I was like, what happened to Finn? Because I totally
I
forgot.
don't remember
like,
what happened to Finn.
And then I had to really think about it in the movie. What happened was I think got hurt.
He got unconscious or something, right?
Yeah, and they were taking him out on like a little thing. They were healing him. Like that was a part of, but I couldn't remember. It was like it was so.
Should have rewatched it before.
Yeah, I should have rewatched it. But so she meets Luke, and I thought that was the second piece of cheese, and then also I was like, okay, it's definitely a 3 out of 5. When he grabs the thing and it's all ominous, and all of a sudden it like makes a joke where he throws the throws the lightsaber behind him, and you're like, what happened?
Yeah, that's the scene we've been waiting for.
Yeah,
for like a couple of years now since the end of the Force Awakens.
Yeah,
and all he did was just toss it.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want this anymore. But it was interesting because I thought like it would have been more intense if he threw it into the water, but it just fell into the like bushes. So it was like like it would have been more gnarly if like he threw it over his shoulder and it flew off the cliff into the water, because then she'd have to go retrieve it.
Right.
You know, but I guess they didn't want to go that hardcore. And then, what do you think of her training?
I thought it was good, but she didn't really get that much of
training. Well, all right. So
more
this is
of a
the part.
lesson.
Yeah.
That he was trying to tell her.
So the part that I think we both really liked was when they started to delve into the gray. So prior to this movie, if you watch Clone Wars, the last 2 episodes where Yoda's journey, he starts to realize that it's not about good or bad; it's about living in the gray. And then this movie was all. And I think
that was what was a lot of the complaints from Force Awakens.
That it was so black and white.
That it was too black and white.
Yeah.
And the world is not black and white.
Right,
and
exactly.
Where's that gray line? And that's where they answered in this movie.
And this whole movie was about like, where's the gray line? It's like there is no good or evil. Like not to skip too far ahead, but that line where he's like, good, bad, they're all just made up words. That's like, that's true though. Mm-hmm. Like it's all just like, what do you think good and bad really means? Because I'm pretty sure the Sith also thought that they were doing the right thing.
Yeah, everyone is thinking they're doing the rational.
Yeah, totally.
Behavior, whatever. Yeah.
So so where were we? We jumped to okay. So the whole training was he was telling Rey about like how the Jedi are actually bad.
Yeah. And
how they need to be destroyed. And I thought that was cool when he referred
the
to
vanity thing.
Yeah.
Of owning the Force and all that.
Yeah. But prior to that, I liked how he referred to the Force as a religion.
Oh yeah,
he's like
that when he slipped that word religion in
there. Oh. These are the texts of the ancient religious order. Mm-hmm. It's like right. It wasn't like, oh no, he didn't even say order because it was like the Jedi order. He's like the Jedi religion is done.
Jedi religion, right?
And it was like, oh, that's so true. Like we forget that the Jedi is just a belief system, just like the Sith, you know. And then so what he gets into is like that it's not. That it's like so his first lesson was that it's vanity, you know, and then he's like, how can you own the Force? We're just using the Force, but we don't own the Force. The Jedi believe that they own the Force. They were one with the Force, but it's like you are one, but you're not actually like, you're just like acting through the Force.
Yeah.
Which is interesting too, because like Luke Skywalker wasn't around during the Jedi Order, so maybe it's his interpretation of what they were saying was wrong. You know what I mean? Like, how do we know that the Jedi actually believe that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they got in, like, the history in when they created the whole Jedi Order and everything. They've gotten far enough where they've forgotten other things of it. Maybe like Yoda had those things, but those old knowledge of it, right? But like it progressed into a military organization.
Yeah, that's true. Which
was kind of like a really weird thing for like a Jedi, what they kind of believe, right?
Actually, that's true. I didn't even think about that. The Jedi became a military group. It wasn't like a religious sect. It's like it's as if like the Shaolin monks became like the main army for China.
Yeah,
it's like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And then what was the second one? Like the next lesson was like about the hubris, like your pride, your excessive pride.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he failed, because he thought he could start the Jedi Order again, and then he realized that in thinking how great he was, he realized how not great he actually is. That was really interesting too. And then it brings into Kylo Ren when. But you were saying about the two perspectives.
Yeah, I like that a lot, because we have this issue in society all the time. We think what they're only getting from our own perspective.
Yeah,
it means,
that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got to hear both points of view to really understand what's going on. So that's why I liked when Kylo Ren's perspective was that he felt like he was being betrayed.
Yes.
And then he had to protect himself. well, Luke was going through a dilemma in his own mind
Yeah.
because he
being
saw the
confused, yeah.
future and then
Yeah.
or
yeah.
a possibility of a future that may have happened for Kylo Ren, but he wasn't. He's about to stop from doing it.
Yeah. That was later on, though. You find out that
Later
Luke,
on you find that out. Yeah.
Luke actually wasn't going to kill him, but he had already failed in that he drew his lightsaber, and then Kylo Ren woke up, and then he what was like Ben? His name is Ben. Ben Solo. Ben Solo. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then you thought that the Force was the one bringing them together. That was a great twist because you're like, oh man, I thought they were brother and sister or something. Because I was like, oh, like why is the Force bringing them together? But it's like,
that was I was wondering
right?
what's going on here.
Yeah. So but it's like it turns out that they're not brother and sister, allegedly through Kylo Ren. But it's like it makes sense. I couldn't see them being brother and sister because it's like, why didn't Luke know who she was right away? I thought they were going to start this with like, I thought she was like Luke's daughter or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then when Luke saw her, he's like, who are you?
Yeah.
You know? He didn't even know. So it's like, so, but I think that they were doing that from like a more like subliminal perspective. They were doing that to show everyone that like, it doesn't matter who you are, you can access the Force, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to be a great bloodline. You just need to be a great person. And what was that thing about the, he didn't have a third lesson when she left. Because he's like, I'll teach you 3 lessons.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I thought the third lesson was that she left.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because like it wasn't really a lesson. It wasn't an intended lesson, but for the viewer, the lesson came through Yoda. Oh, that was really cool. So in the Clone Wars, Yoda learns how to keep his consciousness past death. And like, but they never showed it in the future movies, so it was great to see it in this movie because it brought back the Clone Wars. It's like, oh, that's what he learned to do. And then Yoda was saying how it's like it's not about the text; it's about what you know from it.
Yeah,
you know, you don't actually have to read it, and like you don't have to take it so literally. You know, but Yoda was also a very gray-ish person. You know.
Yeah, he understood the realities of the world.
Yeah, exactly. And but he was around for so long, right? So he could see the rise and fall of the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
But actually, what's interesting is in the Clone Wars series, Yoda's hubris, his like excessive pride, came from the Jedi Order because he thought that it was like he's like, but he had to realize. So in order for him to transcend consciousness, he had to face his deepest fear, and his deepest fear was the realization that maybe the Jedi Order is not the way. Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's
and then that was a cool scene where he's like Luke's going to go save the books, and then because he's gonna go burn them at first. It was kind of funny because like he's gonna go burn the books, and then Yoda appears, and then you think Yoda's gonna stop him from burning the books, and then in actuality Luke decides not to burn the books, but then Yoda's like, screw you, dude, and he burns the books anyways. Uses his powers, and then Luke starts freaking out. It's like, yeah, but I thought you wanted to burn the books. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I like that about Yoda, his like mischievous character and stuff.
Yeah, that was cool to see. It was also cool to see him back on screen.
Yeah, for sure. They made him. I don't like how they make Yoda like in his old age like very silly. When he was like laughing and he was like he seemed like a weird troll.
Yeah, that's what old people are like.
Yeah, but if you look at like episode 1 to 3, it's like he was a very like somber person, but then he became lighthearted later on.
Yeah.
You know, which is
I think
interesting, like what happened.
Kind of with everything that happened.
That's true. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, his. Actually, what's interesting is the one who sparked it all was Yoda's greatest apprentice, Count Dooku, right? Because like he's the one who orchestrated it. So it's like Yoda was the one who propagated the Force, but his disciple was the one who helped bring it to a fall. Everyone thinks it's like Darth Vader, but actually Darth Vader was influenced by Dooku.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So what happened next? What else was a memorable thing?
So. Once Rey leaves, she's like, what else? Oh, they appear on that planet, right?
Oh, they had to find the code breaker.
Yeah,
that was kind of weird though. Like that.
Well, that's not Rey. That was Finn. Yeah, when Finn left. Yeah,
Finn. Yeah.
Finn. I thought the code breaker part was. I don't know if they really need to go that intense.
No, so I feel like they wanted to put messaging in this movie.
Yeah.
So the only reason why they put the codebreaker in was because they wanted to talk about like war profiteering.
Oh yeah. That
You know what I mean?
that was specific. Yeah.
Right?
That,
So it's
that
like
was very interesting. Scene.
we didn't even really need to see that whole like scene where like literally you didn't need to go the whole codebreaker thing. That was like kind of random. But then the codebreaker's lessons about war profiteering, when he showed like he's like, oh, who does the ship belong to? He's like, oh, it's a Sith arms dealer. And then he's like, oh wait, it's also a resistance arms dealer. And then Finn was like, wait, what? And then it's like, oh, like that's how you make money. You supply both sides.
Yeah.
You know? And then Finn's like, no, you have to do what's right. And then that's when he's like, right and wrong are both
The good and bad.
good and bad are
labels,
just
or...
made up or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting because it's like he really made you second guess. But I like how his character reminded me a lot of Loki. Actually, this movie reminded me a lot of Marvel movies. It was very Marvel-ish, you know?
Yeah.
Like Thor, after seeing Thor and then watching this movie, it's like, oh, they're very similar because they have that like comical relief kind of thing, but with seriousness. And then the Codebreaker's character reminded me a lot of Loki, where he takes the girl's necklace. And then she's like, no, but that was my sister's, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't care. It seems like he's cold-hearted. And then he uses it to help them escape. And then you're like, oh, he's actually a good guy. But then when they get captured, he makes a deal, and then he goes back to the bad side. So it's like, which side are you on? And then he's like, oh, no, that was a cool scene where Finn's like, no, you have to do it for the good guys, whatever. And he's like, today it's you're fighting them, tomorrow it's them fighting you.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's just war. You just got to get out alive kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, I agree with the Codebreaker in that regard. I also agree with Yoda in that regard. So you know that line where it's like nihilism and acceptance are two shades of enlightenment, the thing that I keep saying? So the Codebreaker was like the nihilism, and the Yoda is sort of like the acceptance. You know, but they're both realizing that it's all in their head.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, that was... I really like that guy, though.
The Codebreaker?
I think
I love the Codebreaker
I
too.
don't know if he will be, but I think
You
they
think
should
he'll
bring
be
him
back?
back.
Yeah. I liked his stuttering. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was good. From an acting perspective. I was like, wow, you're a really good actor. But that guy was in Sicario. He was like a killer. Sicario was a good movie as well. But yeah, so the Codebreaker is cool. What else? Then, when when Rey was like, I can save him. All right, my prediction is they're gonna fall in love. I believe that Kylo Ren and Rey are gonna fall in love, and then that's what's gonna make Kylo Ren good. You know, you could already see that kind of like romanticism, unless they turn out to be like relatives, which would like totally negate it. But I mean, the Targaryens did it, so we watch the, yeah.
Well, that's what they did in the old movies too, Luke and Leia.
Oh yeah, that's true. They did do that. That was a trip. Yeah. That's true. It's true. So, Kylo Ren, when he saves Rey, that was really interesting. Remember what you were saying about he made him look like he was going to kill her. But
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, and when they killed off Snoke, I thought Snoke was gonna be a bigger player.
I know, right?
In some way,
they made him seem like such an amazing like Sith Lord. I really liked that because like. He's like, I can see his intention. I can see he's about to draw his saber. He's about to kill you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
but he was actually thinking about killing Snoke, but he was thinking about Rey. Because he knew he could read his mind. That was pretty genius.
Yeah,
and then he got cut in half. But when he got cut in half, I was like, oh, that was anticlimactic. You know, it's like, well, what are we going to do now? Like, but then it's obvious, like, you know, Kylo Ren's going to take over.
It was a dilemma there. Did he turn good? Like, that was what I was wondering.
Yeah.
When he killed Snoke, is he turned good, or is he on the Rey's side, or what's going on?
But I feel like he turned good in his own head. It's like his version of good. Like he's
no,
like
yeah. His rationality was when he was saying was to kill your past. And that he was part of the past, right?
Right. And he's like, Snoke's not good. And then he asked Rey to join him so that they can like create their own version of the future.
Yeah, and rule the universe.
Yeah, right. But then she's like, no. I thought it would have been so sick if she joined him. That would have been awesome. But yeah, so then
I don't think like, they could have done that because
it would have been over.
Yeah.
Like it's like, you have the two most powerful beings in the universe. But like so what was interesting? Well, what do you think of the fight scene?
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed.
It.
I was like, wow, this is actually really... But it wasn't as good because I went to go watch Episode 3's fight scenes. Episode 3 had better lightsaber battles than this one. They just made it more epic. they were like more slowed down and like,
okay.
you know, like more intense. Like this one was more like deadly.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one wasn't flashy, but this was more direct to the point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the way they killed him, like when she threw the lightsaber to him and then he grabbed it, he turned it on and it like stabbed him.
Yeah,
that was sick.
Oh.
And you're like, oh
Damn.
man, like you killed him.
Yeah,
But
that was cool scenes in there. I like that.
it's interesting because if you watch like episode like 4, 5, and 6 and you see those red characters, you think like, oh, how powerful are they? And then you actually got to see it. In this
You
one,
never
know?
got to see it before.
Yeah, you never seen them fight. And then when the lightsaber, so we're getting more into the movie. Oh, what do you think about like the slowest battle chase in history?
The ship, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of weird. I mean, they didn't want to send any other like fighter jets.
Yeah, to like go attack them and stuff.
Go and attack.
Made no sense. Yeah. I was wondering about like I was waiting for Carrie Fisher's character to die.
That's,
you know?
Yeah. So I thought that the way that the trailer makes it look like, oh, that Kylo Ren's gonna kill her.
Yeah.
So that was the other thing too, right? With the killing the past, he couldn't kill his mother.
Yeah, true.
So I guess some things you can't.
Yeah, there's a limitation. Yeah, for sure.
And then I didn't get like when they did blow up the ship where Carrie Fisher was. I didn't understand like you said later that it was the Force that protected her, so that she was able to.
Yeah. She's
survive
like force,
it.
she's like super strong.
So no one, they've never shown anyone survive space like that.
That's true too. Yeah. How powerful is freaking Carrie Fisher, yo?
Yeah, or Leia.
Yeah, Leia. Yeah, Leia. Yeah.
So that was cool to see. But I had questions about that scene. I didn't really.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me either.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I guess. Again, this is why I was like, it's a 3, you know, because that was more of a beginning scene, and then when she survived, it was like, I was, but you said it wasn't CG, right? Like she was never CG'd.
Yeah.
So it made me
I don't
think
she
like,
was there.
it's like, are they just gonna do episode 9 and
No, they're not having.
They're not having her.
Yeah.
Okay, so my assumption is that when episode 9 begins, they're going to talk. I feel like it's going to be like 10 years in the future. Leia has passed on, and now this person has taken her place, kind of thing. Because they were showing like I will get into that at the end, the ending. But yeah. So jumping back now to when what's his name, Ben Solo and Rey, they were doing that like force pull of the lightsaber, and then it exploded.
Yeah.
Like it should have been a signal. Like for me, as soon as I watched like Luke come on scene and then he pulled out the blue lightsaber, I was gonna turn to you and be like, "Oh, continuity error, they messed up," right? And then later when you find out he's a hologram, you're like, "Oh no!" It's like the whole time, like they were giving you signals, like, "No, this isn't the real Luke."
Right.
But you should have known, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch it now, it's like
after like, but once you get to the end of it,
it's like makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But like when he shot like the first bomb, and then they shot like
that's
all
what I
these
thought too.
more
When I
bombs.
first saw the blue, I'm like, how did he get the blue lightsaber? I thought that was broken.
I thought so too. Yeah. So this was a continuity error.
Yeah.
And then you find out like, Kylo Ren should have known too.
Kylo Ren should have known.
You know what I mean?
But he was too much in his anger.
Yes.
And his hatred to Luke that he couldn't see further than that.
Exactly. That's so funny. It's like, see so much symbology in this movie that it's like if you had only looked objectively at the information that you're given, you would have seen what's really happening, not this like falsehood that you fell for easily. But I was also thinking like Luke's looking really jacked in this. Like on the island he looked a little fat, but then like when he showed up in the thing he looked jacked, and I was like, and he's all groomed and stuff. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah. I was you said you liked the floating meditation thing?
Yeah, I like that scene. It was cool.
Yeah. That was cool, yeah. I was like, this is like a really intense tribute to yoga right now. Like, you're like going off. Like, this is what people wish that they saw, you know? Like.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I saw it, I was like, oh, like that's a little weird, but.
But I guess that's the level of energy you need to tap into that hologram so far away.
For sure, yeah, that's
using
true.
his force energy.
So do you think he used all his energy and he died, or do you think he like gave up his life to fuse?
It's like it's like for anything, when there's too much of something, it poisons you.
True. Yeah. True.
So I think that's what it could have been like. That's why he disappeared into the force.
That was a really cool. I thought so when he's like, "Strike me down, and I will I will be with you forever.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be that scene where in episode 4, Vader struck Ben Kenobi, and then Ben Kenobi disappeared.
Yeah.
I thought that was, I was like, oh, okay, we're about to see it. And then it's like, he slices me, you're like, wait, what? How powerful are you, dog? Like, I didn't know these Jedi powers. And then, like, he walks up and, like, stabs him. It's like, oh, no, you were a hologram the whole time. Like,
Yeah,
was really
that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new things that they did. It's similar to, I think it's episode 6, right? Episode 5. Similar scenes and like,
Right.
but they turn it around and make a lot of changes from it too.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool to see.
What do you think about the salt? Remember when that guy walked out? I thought he was bleeding. I was like, what the hell's wrong with this thing? And then they taste it and they like, because you're thinking like, how come there's the red when he's doing the footsteps?
I don't know if this is correct. I'm not sure if they were on that planet in the old movie. In the older movies.
Same planet?
I think so.
Oh, that would make. That would be really cool. We should check that out if it's the same planet. That would be really cool because then it like brings it full circle. Because she's like, oh, there's a abandoned rebel hideout here, and then she's like,
I think so.
maybe it is
I think
actually.
so.
Yeah, it probably is.
I think I overheard it somewhere, but I don't.
And those ships that they were using, what if we watch that same one and it's like it's the exact same ship? You know?
Yeah, they were old ships.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Makes me want to watch the original trilogy now.
Yeah, there's so much references to it.
Yeah.
Homages to it, and then the new changes that they make in the new.
What was that golden thing was that the lucky charm of Luke? Remember that like necklace that was in the.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that, and then like I was like, when did they put that in the movie? Whose was that? Was that Luke's or was that Han Solo's? I'm assuming it was Han Solo's.
I think it was. No, it was
Han Solo.
No, that was from the ship.
Yeah,
The Chewbacca. Yeah, that's Han's.
but I don't remember Han ever using that. Was that in the first movie, like episode 4?
I think so.
Okay,
I think
that's cool.
That's what I mean by there was a lot of references when Luke went onto that ship.
Right.
And then also I liked that how R2 was trying to like the banter between those two.
Oh, that was
and
so
then,
funny.
And
Yeah.
pulled out the.
And he's like low blow. That was cool. Yeah. I liked how I like those little chicken things. Is like.
Oh, the porgs or something. Porgs or porgs. I don't remember.
Yeah, that was pretty cool when what's his name
Birds.
Chewbacca was like eating them, and then they came up. And they're like, oh no, I think that they came up because Luke made that happen. Because like I was like he was distracting Chewbacca.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Because I was like, well, this is a really weird scene. Like, why would they have this scene here? And then, like, you saw, like, as Chewbacca, like, he, like, yelled at that one, and then he went back to eating. You saw, like, something slip by, and that was Luke. So I'm assuming that. Did you notice that they had, like, a lot of symbology of, like, Catholicism in there? Because, like, those nuns that were cleaning up the... That was really... I was like, what the hell is this, you know? With the... those like little frog nuns that were cleaning up his face, and they're like, oh, they're the inhabitants of the island. They've been here since the Jedi began, stuff like that.
No, I didn't see any remnants to.
No, because they were like wearing the nun.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
I was just like,
there's many cultures
that
that
look
nuns.
like freaking nuns. Yeah, true. Oh,
We're just there to keep the place clean.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think of the? No, but
they added to the comic relief.
But it's fitting though because he's like the religion of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, they look like religious people, you know. What do you think of the Sith in the bottom? Remember that like a little hole? Oh, she's like, oh, I feel like that was kind of cool when she's like, I feel a great energy of like the Sith, right? And then he's like, yeah, they're in the same place. That was really cool.
Oh yeah,
the Jedi and the Sith, the energies are from the exact same place, you know, the island. But I thought there'd be more to
I don't know.
Sith
I didn't
thing.
get that scene where race and the whole mirror thing.
I think.
What did that mean?
So what I interpret that as like, it's like all of our actions are already predetermined. You're just watching them happen. They're like ripples in time.
Like Destiny kind of thing.
Destiny, yeah, Destiny. And
I liked how they
that's
did
like
it.
a manifestation.
Like,
what?
The whole ripple of the mirrors. It's not like all at the same time. It was like,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
It was cool.
Yeah, because that's how time works. So like I as an aside, I have this theory about like free will and destiny. I think it's already all played out. And like with that symbology of like it's just like time has to catch up. That's why like when she moved and then the very back one moved and then they all moved like afterwards in tandem.
Yeah.
You know, that was like a symbol for like your actions already predestined. You're just moving through life, as if an actor in your play. But I hear that all the time. Like you're an actor in the play of your own life, and it's like because the movie's already recorded. You're just going through the motions now. You know. So what was another cool one? Her training, I didn't really like her swordsmanship. That was kind of weird. Her like lightsaberness. She had like a lot of dark in her though. But it made sense though. Her biggest suffering was that she's a nobody.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
So I think that was what Kylo was trying to pull, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And use that.
Yeah, he's trying to use that as her like. So like we all have that like negative spark that can turn us evil or good, and he's trying to like play to that negativity. Whereas like he's like you're a nobody, but you're somebody to me.
Yeah.
You know, I can be. You know, you can be my apprentice kind of thing. That'd be cool, you know. But like, well, I guess that is probably one of maybe she's so powerful because her sense of like you have no place in this world, nobody loves you kind of thing is like that's the most driving force, right? Love is the biggest driving force to do something, but a lack of love is the total opposite of that, right?
Yeah.
And she's rising through like that's why she's so powerful dark side wise because she wants to be somebody but she's not anybody.
Yeah.
You know. So which is again alluding to the hidden message between within the movie, which is what I liked because it's like it's trying to tell people that you are you can like stand up and become great, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you come from kind of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter your bloodline or whatever it is.
Yeah. And what I
class.
noticed from the first movie, The Force Awakens, that one scene where they're talking straight into the camera and they're like, it was all real, all of it. It was almost like they're saying like, no, good and evil are all real. That's how I took it. I was like, oh wow, you're like speaking to the audience right now, right? And then in the next one, it's like we're gonna send out a beacon to all corners of the universe, right? And then they're saying like, this is like super intense if you like read into it, but like, so they're saying like we're gonna shoot a beacon to the corners of the universe, and they're like, oh, everyone received it, but nobody's answering back, right? It's almost like the movie was that call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's them telling us like we need to stand up for something.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And then like the final scene where it's like, well, who's gonna answer the call? And then it shows the little kids and they're all talking about the Force and like Luke and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what we did. It's sort of like the Matrix of now.
Yeah.
You know, this movie was like the Matrix to us.
Yeah.
Because when we saw, we were like, oh, maybe there is something outside of this world, right? Blah, 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 blah. And then, like, you watch this as a kid, and you're like, oh, man, Luke, like, saved all these people, and, like, you can become a Jedi, too, and blah, blah, blah. Like, they're giving people hope, which is what they are trying to, like, push.
Yeah.
Although, conversely, as, like, a negative, hope is the greatest evil. You know, Pandora's Box? The last thing to come out was hope because, like, it gives you a false sense of something, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. I think... by the time I liked some of this like way it circled too, like moving the rocks as she was on the island, and then that was her thing that she had to do at the end of it.
Oh, that's funny! I didn't even catch that. And they kept alluding to that. He's like,
yeah.
he's like, what do you know of the Force? And then she's like, his first question, what do you know of the Force? And she's like, you can move rocks with it or something like that. It was like, yeah, that's
And then at
wrong.
the end, yeah, it's like,
And then she's
you
like,
gotta move rocks.
yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that. Do you think Luke's gonna come? I hope Yoda comes back, but do you think Luke's gonna come back? For sure, right? He's gonna like help her.
I don't know. I think they will come if they are needed for the story.
True, but like
whatever makes sense for the story.
I feel
Like Obi-Wan hasn't shown up, right? You know what I mean? Like it's only been
true, no, but because Obi-Wan was helping Luke, so when Luke was going to do the Starfighter in Episode 4, he's like, trust the Force, Luke, right? That was Obi-Wan, and then in this one, Rey's like help will be Luke, because if Obi-Wan showed up out of nowhere to Rey, or Yoda showed up out of nowhere to Rey, she'd be like, who are you? Right?
Yeah.
But she knows Luke.
Yeah.
So that's why it was cool that like Yoda came to Luke in that moment.
Yeah, he was his real teacher, because when he was on that island, or not island, that one.
That's true, actually. Yeah,
the
that's
planet
true.
before, right? In the
Yoda's
older movies. Yeah.
Yoda was Luke's real teacher, even though people are like, oh, it was Obi-Wan Kenobi, it wasn't. Obi-Wan just like showed him the path.
Yeah.
But he never taught him anything.
No.
You know? And same with, but which is interesting because if you look at like the way it's all sphered together, it's like Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon taught Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon ascended to the Force and is like able to remain conscious. Obi-Wan taught Anakin. But you know what's actually interesting? When did Anakin learn how to ascend to the Force? Because at the end of episode 6 or whatever, 4, 5, 6, yeah, episode 6, they showed Anakin with Obi-Wan and Yoda to Luke. So it's like, when did Anakin learn how to transcend the Force?
I don't know.
Right? That's continuity error. It's like,
it was movies, though, of course.
True, yeah. But I mean, like, it's kind of like, well, then maybe Anakin will show up. But it's like, why would Anakin show up at this point? Because he's not needed in the story. It's really just Luke. I feel like Luke's going to come back.
Yeah,
I think Yoda's not coming back. Actually, now that I think about it, because, like, Rey wouldn't know who Yoda is. So it's like, how could she come back?
Yeah. We'll see. I thought it was a really good movie.
Yeah, for sure. Any other points that you want to bring up? Oh, the love triangle. The Rey, the Chinese girl, and Finn.
Oh yeah, they're adding that in there.
It was interesting though, because it seemed like the Chinese girl. So the Chinese girl obviously loves Finn because she kissed him. Her line was cool. She's like, "It's about like keeping alive what you love," or something like that. That was a good line because it's like the only way you're gonna change is by just fostering what you love. You know, that was a good lesson. But so then Finn obviously has feelings for Rey because they hugged. But now it's like, I don't know if it's like just friendship feelings because Finn's now feeling a Chinese girl. And they showed Poe. They showed him kind of romantically talking to Rey. Remember, he's like, "Oh, you're Rey."
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? It was like, I was like, oh, that's a little suggestive. Like, is there going to be like a love thing between Rey and Poe and Finn and the Chinese girl?
I don't know. We'll see it in episode 9.
That's true. But so episode 9's done. Like this 3-part series.
They're filming. They're going to start filming. I don't know when.
No, but I mean, like, they come in 3s, right? So the story of Rey is going to be done.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We just know that there's an episode 9 coming.
Well, I hope. Well, I don't know how you could sum up everything in one last episode. You know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
A lot happened in this movie, though.
Oh, a lot happened. I was surprised how long this movie was.
But it didn't feel like a lot. Like, it didn't feel
long.
No,
it felt like a lot happened, but I didn't feel like
long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wow, they're like getting a lot of stuff accomplished in this one movie. And then we like left the theater and we're like, oh, how long was that goddamn movie? Oh, like, but then it's like you didn't even realize because it was so engaging. You know, they kept everything short enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So final predictions for the next movie.
No, I'm not making predictions.
No prediction.
No, I'm not making any predictions.
I'm gonna predict that Rey is gonna get together with Kylo Ren, and then that's how they're gonna. All right, now I believe this. Rey's gonna get together with Kylo Ren, and that's how they're gonna do away with the Force. Because like they're not the Force. The Force is like they're gonna do away with the dark side and the light side. Because their merger is gonna bring balance to the Force. Oh, actually, if you think about it, that makes sense. Because who's the one who said it was Qui-Gon Jinn said Anakin will bring balance to the Force.
Right.
Right. And it's like, but we're like, how come there's no balance? And they showed like a little bit of the love between Anakin and Padme. They showed that love, but then that went south, right? And then that's why we got Darth Vader. So maybe he brings balance because of his bloodline. It's Kylo Ren who's going to bring balance to the Force. Maybe Anakin will show up to Kylo Ren in like conscious form. Because he really loves his grandfather. Remember, he's always like bringing up. Oh, that was a good line when he's like, "You're just a little kid in a mask." It was like, oh, brutal, yo. You called it. You just burned him, yo.
Yeah.
And he got like all pissed. So like maybe because he's so obsessed with Darth Vader will appear to him in conscious form, and then he'll tell him that love is the only way. And then he'll fall. Him and Rey will get together, and then that's how there'll be balance in the Force.
Okay.
Call that. So okay, final review score after we talked about it.
Of course, still the same.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay.
6 out of 5.
All right.
Now that we talked about it, it's like actually there's a lot of symbology. Would you watch it again?
Yeah, I do want to watch it again.
I do actually want to watch it again too, though. I don't know if it's like weekday worthy or weekend worthy. Maybe it's Tuesday worthy because we already saw it, and it's like might as well just like check it out on Tuesday.
Right.
Kind of thing. But yeah, definitely worth a double watch. Definitely worth a double watch because like you watch it first as like I don't know what happens, and then now you watch it again looking for the symbology now that you know the twists that are gonna come about. Because there was a lot of twists. Like, if you watch it the first time, you're like, man, twist central.
Yeah, and I missed some of those lines, right? Like the sister one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true too. I would love to see it again just to see just to immerse myself this time. Because when we were watching this, I was so immersed, but I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But now if you watch it again, it's like I'm just in
you
the
can watch it
world.
more carefully.
Yeah, and you're like
specific.
Absorb yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, solid score. That makes it a 5.5 out of 5. Because you gave it a 5, I gave it a 6. It's a definite must watch.
Yeah, it's a watch. It's a good watch.
What's the next movie that's coming out?
I don't know.
Black Panther?
There could be others in between.
Really?
I don't know.
All right, cool. Yeah, so hopefully we'll just keep doing these movie reviews as we check them out. So until next time, be a Jedi.
May the Force be with you.
Oh, good ender. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.